Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to IPFW's Mastodon Career Call webinars. IPFW Career Services, the Office of Diversity, Multicultural Affairs, and Quincy Recycle sponsor these webinars. Typically, we have one or two a month, and today's webinar is focusing on how to get the most out of a professional conference. And I'm excited and ready to introduce Allison Reinierson. She is an academic advisor here at IPFW and also the National Student Exchange Coordinator. So Allison's going to share some information today with everyone. Feel free to go ahead and type in questions on the left, and Allison will kind of field through those questions as she goes through the webinar. And I just want to remind everyone that we have another webinar in February focusing on how to quit or leave a job appropriately. So there is a way to do that, and you can register for all of these Mastodon Career Call webinars on the Career Services website. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Allison.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to a snowy day in Fort Wayne. My name is Allison Reinierson, and our topic for today is getting the most out of a professional conference. And again, I'm an academic advisor and the National Student Exchange Coordinator at IPFW, or Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. All right, let's move forward. And I do want to say a quick thank you to Ashley Calderon and the IPFW Career Services Office for giving me the opportunity today to speak with you. And I also do enjoy presenting for everyone today. Thank you for joining me in this presentation. And as I mentioned, or as Ashley mentioned before, please post any questions to the bottom left-hand area of your screen. We're going to have several presentation interactive surveys as well. Okay, just a little bit about me and my background. I have been an advisor at IPFW for 12 years and also the National Student Exchange Coordinator, which is an excellent program, and I am happy to share more details about that program if you're interested later on. But I've also been an academic advisor and the coordinator of new student programs and academic review at the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences at the University of Illinois Chicago. I was in that position for 3 years. And I've helped organize numerous professional conferences, and I've probably attended maybe 30 or so professional conferences since I got into the student affairs field in 1998. One of the highlights of my career has been being able to serve the National Academic Advising Association as the National Committee Chair for the Member Career Services Committee. And that's basically the committee that takes care of the career needs of the members of that organization. A little bit more about myself. I earned a bachelor's degree from Indiana University in Bloomington in secondary education and English. My master's degree is from Ball State University in the Student Affairs Administration program in higher education. And I'm currently a PhD candidate at Indiana State University in their higher education leadership program. And I have published on various career-related topics related to academic advising as a career field. All right, we're going to talk today somewhat about the 4 items on your screen. Preparation for a conference, goal setting, managing the time wisely, and also how to conclude your time at the conference. All right, our first opportunity for you to put in some information in the little box at the left there. How many professional conferences have you attended? And you can estimate that. So if you would please take a quick minute and put in some information there. And like I said, I think I've done maybe 30 or so professional conferences. So we've got a few responses, 10, 5, 6, 2. Okay, 2, 20 to 30, 30 plus. Okay, and we've got 20 or more there as well. So we have a wide range. Excellent. Thank you for responding. All right. Now let's first talk about why should you attend a professional conference. There's a lot of good reasons, and I get excited about professional conferences myself. But I've just recorded some of the important reasons to consider attending a professional conference here before you. For a lot of people, they go to their first conference because they're going to look for a job, and that was the case with me when I was in my master's program. I went to my first conferences. I went to ACPA and NASPA, and ACPA is a student affairs conference, as is NASPA. Let's see here, and NACADA is that National Academic Advising Association as well. So I attended ACPA and NASPA for my first conference experiences, and really spent most of my time on that job search function. And at those conferences, the career aspect at those conferences is huge. ACPA and NASPA, and these are just some examples I'm sharing with you, there can be thousands of people that attend those conferences. Those are national conferences. They do offer regionals as well. But there's ample opportunity to go and interview, meet people, network, get your resume reviewed, things like that. Another good reason to attend a professional conference is that you get to keep up with the new research and technology in your field. And I always find that finding out more about my field and the successes that others have had energizes my work. And I also enjoy collecting new ideas for old tasks. One example is I went to a NACADA, National Academic Advising Association conference, several years ago. And several advisors from my office did go. And we went to a presentation from Oakland University about Advising Week, an event they created. And the purpose of that event was to energize the campus around advising. And we liked it so much that we tried Advising Week kinds of activities on our campus for several years, and found that it definitely helped us at IPFW create some buzz around advising as well. So that's just one example of new ideas for old tasks. Also, professional conferences are a good way to collaborate and present on a topic of interest. I myself am going to co-present at ACPA in 2014 with Christina Mosteller Hall, a career counselor at IPFW. So it's been a neat opportunity for us to collaborate and work together, and it's been a lot of fun. Other reasons to attend a professional conference. There will be vendors at most professional conferences if it's a national conference. And there's a lot of products that vendors will be there to try to sell you or interest you in. And in our office, one of the vendors that we use is AdvisorTrack, and we use that as our scheduling system for appointments for advising. So we can always go and look at other vendors for that same purpose, or contact AdvisorTrack while at a conference and work with them on questions that we have, things like that. Also, networking and connecting with colleagues can be a lot of fun. I get to connect with advisors and people I knew from my master's program, from when I worked in Chicago, things like that. So it's nice to see people, even that I've met previously at other conferences too. Others will use professional conferences to earn continuing education credits. And for those who have counseling licenses, that can be an important part of attending a conference. Typically, they have to earn so many CEUs every year to maintain their license. Now, sometimes the biggest question is asking yourself which conference you should attend. And here's some things to think about. Think about which associations best align with your profession, and talk to your colleagues and to your supervisor, and they may have some suggestions for you as well if you haven't attended a professional conference in your field yet. Also, think about who's paying and how much money you have to spend. That may help you decide which conference to go to. Sometime your supervisor may suggest that they will help you with funding if you have a presentation that's been accepted. That does happen often as well. Plus, there's also grants available, sometimes from the association or from the organization that you work for. And as I mentioned, looking at local and state conferences and regional offerings can be a good option as well, again, if you're limited on funds. And I'm attending 3 conferences this year. I'm attending the National Student Exchange Conference, ACPA, and a conference on advising put on by IUPUI, which is Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. So they're all fairly close. 2 are in Indianapolis and 1 in St. Louis. Now, looking at goals. A good tip is to choose your conference based on the goals that you have. What do you want to accomplish at this particular conference? Again, if you're job searching, make sure you have a good idea of what organizations will likely be in attendance and maybe even be recruiting at that time. And will there be a career function available? Again, at some of the very large national conferences, that's where you're going to have the most positions being interviewed for and so on. So you may want to consider those national conferences. And that's what I did when I was first looking for a position in student affairs at the end of my master's degree. I ended up going to St. Louis and Boston, I believe. So they may not be as close as you like. Also, be specific and measurable in your goals. For example, you may want to learn more about at least 3 service to the organization opportunities. Maybe you want to find out how you can participate in that organization. Maybe you want to plan to meet with at least 4 vendors. But putting a number in there is going to be very helpful as you put together your goals for any particular conference. And time for another survey. Let's see if you can create an example of a measurable goal for attending a conference. And you can put in an example in the box to the bottom left. Let's see what you can put together. Some are replying. That's good. Again, try to put a number with whatever your goal might be, and so then you can be very specific on achieving that goal, and you know you've achieved your goal when you hit that number. Someone has attended 5 presentations, so that's a great example. Get 6 business cards or volunteer for the next conference. Bring back 3 new ideas for the office. Great, you guys got it. You guys got it. I'll look for a few more as we continue on. And so I've created some other examples too. Kind of a vague goal would be I want to job search, but more specific would be something like I want to have at least 2 interviews and introduce myself to 3 additional employers. I will hand out at least 4 resumes. I will have my resume critiqued at the Career Center. I will wear professional attire each day. Julie said spend some time in the Learning Resource Lab during lunch to work on mobile applications, increase my institution's visibility. Okay, think about how best you can measure those kind of things. Absolutely. Also, another kind of vague goal would be I want to network. Well, what does that mean? And we're going to talk about network in depth a little bit here, but maybe instead we want to reword that, and we want to say I want to reconnect with Steve, Rhonda, and Bob by inviting them to join me for a meal. There's another example for you. Also, as we continue on and look at which conference you should attend, think about why you're going. What are those goals? Who's paying? What's your budget? At my campus, and probably your campus as well, if we're approved to go on a professional conference, we're limited in our budget, and so maybe that's your case as well. Also, what is the theme? I've been lately working on a project with transfer students, so I'm looking at maybe in the future attending a conference focused on their needs. And again, also think about whether or not you want a state, regional, or national conference. All have their benefits. Okay, other questions to ask yourself as you're choosing which conference you should attend. Will there be organized networking opportunities? That's always nice. And as an example, within student affairs and higher education, there may be a campus that has a networking opportunity. Let's see, I did attend Indiana University as an undergraduate, so if there is a session, a networking session in Indianapolis for Indiana University graduates, that's something that I would probably attend. And a lot of times there's some free food there too, so check that out. Also, are there any specific speakers or attendees that you want to hear or meet? Think about that. And then also ask colleagues or professors for their opinion too on what might be the best conference for your goals. And also think about whether or not that particular conference offers a session for new attendees. And I know that's the case at some of the largest conferences, again, like an ACPA or NASPA. Again, those are National Student Affairs conferences. Okay, official tip number 1, be prepared and preview the sessions and be choosy. There'll be more sessions than you can probably count at some of these large conferences, and there may be 5, 6 different sessions at each time slot. So look through the booklet and decide which sessions are going to be most appropriate for you. And do be choosy because you don't have a lot of time at the conference. But specifically, of course, look for topics related to your work and divide and conquer. And that means if you are there with a colleague and there is several topics during the same time slot that you'd like to see if they want to attend one, you can attend another, share notes, just to make sure someone from your area does get the information from all those sessions. Also, we want to have you plan to collect session handouts for any sessions you can't stay for. Many times you can find those online. Or you may slip in the back and take a handout if there are extras. But again, don't feel bad about collecting session handouts from sessions you weren't able to attend, again, because you can't be everywhere at once. And I do suggest to support your colleagues in their presentations. It's so important to have some friendly faces when you give a presentation. So to see that you're supported by your colleagues is quite a blessing when you're a little nervous at a national conference. So please do support them, and you'll see that they'll support you also as you prepare to present. And of course, plan which vendors you would like to speak with, and make sure to spend some time in the vendor area. Also, in being prepared, we want to make sure that you look for those first-time attendee orientations if they're offered, and know the different kinds of sessions. Of course, there's poster sessions, keynotes, research sessions, best practices, pre-conference sessions, all of those. And the keynotes, of course, are the largest sessions, and with probably the most famous speakers. So, you know, those can be helpful, but if you can't for some reason make it, probably there's someone else from your same campus or organization that can maybe attend. Or sometimes they do have those so you can view them online too. Poster sessions are more where a presenter will be at a table and they will just present some information to anyone who would like to talk about their topic. And there might be a room full of poster tables, or maybe it's happening during a lunch period or something like that. Research presentations are, again, maybe based on an actual research study, maybe someone doing a dissertation. Best practices, I think, are always neat ones to attend as well. Now, pre-conference sessions are ones that may be longer in time, and they could be several hours long or even a half a day long. And a lot of times they also have a bigger cost associated with them, or an additional cost. Other things to help you be prepared: take plenty of business cards with you if you have those. If you don't have some, maybe create some if you're job searching. Also, follow the conference's social media sites. That's kind of a new thing for me. You can find out about a lot of important things like changes to rooms for different presentations, or tips, things like that. Locations as well. All right, another survey. When was the last time you networked? I know that's kind of vague, but please think about the last time you networked, and go ahead and put that information at the bottom left in your screen. That's a tough one, isn't it? Yeah. I see a few people are typing. Great. A holiday party. Last month. Good, good. Yeah, the key is you don't have to wait until you're at a conference to do networking. You can see every day at work is an opportunity to network with other people. So don't wait and say, well, I'll network once I go to a conference. Think about every day as an opportunity to network. Great. All right, moving on. Next tip is number 2, networking. And basically, networking is making a professional connection and using those connections wisely, or building a database of contacts. And there's all kinds of reasons to network. Job search, of course, is one of them, but also sharing of ideas and sharing of opportunities and sharing of research and expertise. Those are all excellent reasons to network. Now, also, to help you kind of get into the networking activity at a conference, you want to review the list of attendees in advance, and you may be able to pick out names of people who are at a certain organization or that you've met before, or maybe there's a speaker. There'll be a list of presenters as well, and so maybe there's a presenter that you want to go and talk to or hear their presentation. So definitely review that list, and also use mealtime to network. And I think networking at mealtime can be fun because you never know who you're going to sit next to. You can network, of course, with those you plan to network throughout the conference, but some of the most fun opportunities are those when you have no plans to necessarily find someone and connect with them. You may learn things you never learned before. You may find out you had connections with somebody that you didn't even realize you connected with. So you may find someone who has attended a presentation that you gave previously, maybe at another conference. So it's a neat opportunity. Also, volunteering, of course, can be a neat way to network with people. And there's all sorts of opportunities. Typically, you can volunteer to collect evaluations. There's a check-in booth. Maybe you can help with registration. Helping in the career area is fun. That's how I knew that I had an interest in career-related topics. And even at the National Academic Advising Association, they have a choir that you can be a part of. And you just, I guess, rehearse a couple times over the course of the conference and perform at some point as well. And so that's a neat opportunity. So look for those neat opportunities. Also, plan to dress to impress. Professional or casual attire is expected, but it depends on the conference that you're going to. So just kind of look through the registration material, see what's expected for that particular conference. But of course, if you're job searching, you want to be as professional as you can. And just a few quick examples for you. I found my first job in Fort Wayne teaching at Carroll High School through a networking opportunity. My aunt Kathy, was having a party at her house, and she needed some people to help her kind of set up and serve food and things like that, and she asked me to do it because she knew that there was going to be someone there I should meet. I was looking for a job at the time, just got out of my undergraduate degree, and I was able to meet someone who was working at Carroll High School who knew of an opening there. And I was able to make a great connection. And so networking does work in job searching. Another example is a couple colleagues of mine, Casey and Christina. Christina Mosteller Hall is a career counselor here at IPFW, and she told me she found out about her current position while at a conference. And a former career counselor, Casey Farrell Snyder, basically spoke with Christina at a conference after a session. They just kind of started chatting, and that's how Christina found out about the position at IPFW, and she was encouraged to apply. And so that's how she got her position. Also, more about networking. If you can, know who you would like to meet and what you want to talk to them about. Excuse me. For me, a good example here is when I went to a National Academic Advising Association conference in Denver a few years ago. I knew that I wanted to connect with some people who may be possible people I would want to interview for my PhD dissertation. And so I had an idea of who I wanted to talk to, what I wanted to talk to them about, and I was very productive and found lots of names and contact information for people that I did eventually interview for my dissertation. Also, regarding networking, we want you to integrate your work and interests into any conversation you're having. And elevator speeches are handy for this. And again, an elevator speech is just a quick 30-second kind of introduction of who you are and what you're about. And so think of something like that you would like to share with others before you go to a conference. Also, you can have others point to specific people. Oh, you should meet so-and-so, or this person is an important figure in the field that you're researching. Please make sure to connect with them, that kind of thing. Again, connect with the host or people running the event. That's a good way to get some networking opportunities. And introduce yourself to the speakers, even the famous ones. And I've heard many good stories about people who've done that and have had very fruitful kind of activities after that, or even co-writing books together just from an introduction. So keep those things in mind. A little bit more about networking. When you do see the speaker, tell them that you did enjoy the presentation, and more importantly, tell them what you learned and what you're going to take away. They've worked hard to share something that will be useful to others, so that can be especially appreciated. Also, offer any comments or ask follow-up questions. That's a good way to start a conversation. Thank them for attending the meeting and contributing to your education or professional development. And don't forget that networking is also about helping other people. It's just not about one individual. So pay it forward. Introduce other people to those who may be a good connection for them as well. Keep that in mind. And as I mentioned, also, networking is about building those relationships. So it doesn't stop at the end of the conference. So maintain those relationships, connect otherwise and in other ways after the conference, and be real about it. The best networking is organic and comes from real relationships. So again, follow up after that conference. And you can do that in lots of ways: emails, LinkedIn, things like that, Facebook, perhaps. Exchanging business cards can be a good way to network. Find common references, mutual friends. Ask them questions about whether or not they agreed with the presenter, or ask them what they thought of the last session. And networking and a lot of other important topics are going to be available for you to learn more at the Career Services website. And I've included the website for your use. Number 3, this is a good tip. I like this one a lot. Don't overdo it. It's easy to get it's easy to overdo it at a conference. And just realize you don't have to go to all the sessions. You may want to spend some of that other time doing other things, or just resting too, because traveling can be, tiring, absolutely. And you're eating some very awesome different food, and so sometimes that can catch up with you as well. I always love the food at conferences. They really do a great job, at least the conferences I've attended. And as I said, get some rest. And it's nice if you can stay at the conference hotel. In the past, I've used that opportunity to take a quick nap between sessions if I find that I need it. But of course, if you do want to stay in the conference hotel, make that hotel reservation early. They do fill up. Also, don't overdo it. Pre-plan a meal with a colleague from an institution so that you can see them and make that and set that up ahead of time, and make time for yourself. I like to take some me time, and occasionally if I have some time before conference sessions start, I like to get my nails done or something fun like that. Okay, tip number 4, consider job searching. If you plan on job searching, make that your priority at the conference. Some things to keep in mind: bring lots of resumes, printed resumes, of course. It can cost a lot of money to print things at a conference hotel. Professional notebooks and attire are appropriate. And do some research about the organizations that are going to have positions available, or organizations you want to connect with. Do that research before you go. And then a lot of times you'll be able to see which positions they're going to be interviewing for. So do your research on those positions as well. Also, if you're planning to consider job searching, many times you can pre-schedule interviews before you even go to the conference. So if that's an opportunity, look into that. Another neat thing you can do is, if you know you want to interview with, or you're interested in a certain organization, go to the sessions that people from that organization are presenting. You'll find out more about the organization, the kind of people that work there, some of the neat activities that they're doing, and you can actually pull in some of those ideas and in an interview that you may have with them. Utilize the resume service if offered, and this is something that I have been involved with several times at a NACADA National Conference. As the chair of the Member Career Services Committee, I was able to put together a plan for resume review for anyone who was interested in it at the conference. And so there are definitely people interested in those kind of services, and it's very helpful if there are those kind of services available. Typically, you will find that more often at, again, a larger conference, a national conference. And also there may be sessions about job searching that you want to go to. And I've probably presented, oh goodness, maybe 4 or 5 different times on how to conduct an advising job search. So look for those kind of sessions too. Next, managing your time. As I mentioned before, divide and conquer on some sessions. It's okay if you can't attend everything. And again, get those handouts for the presentations you were not able to attend. Again, support colleague presentations. And another nice tip is to iron all your clothes as soon as you get to the hotel. Things kind of happen quickly once the conference actually starts, so you may run out of time to do so. So that's just one more tip for you. Next tip, number 6, consider presenting. It's a great opportunity, even if you've never attended that conference before, or even if you haven't attended any conferences before. Presenting is still an option. You still have something important to share. It's always a great resume builder. Of course, you get the opportunity to collaborate with a colleague. And of course, presentation skills as well. It's always nice when you can practice those skills and improve those skills. And then also, it's an opportunity to network with people who are interested in what you're talking about for that particular presentation. And so it kind of brings to you all the people that you may want to network with on that topic. Also related to presenting, it gives you an opportunity to respond to questions and comments and get feedback on some project that you're working on. And it's always nice when you can share your good ideas and successes, and of course the clapping at the end makes you feel like all your hard work was meaningful for that particular project. And also remember, future employers could be watching as well. Now, at many conferences, there's an opportunity to do an evaluation at the end of every session for the presenter or the speaker. And so you can get some written feedback from those in the audience too. Tip 7, get travel support. There's a lot of possibilities for getting support to go to a conference. Travel grants, again, could be available from the organization that's sponsoring the conference, like NACADA. They do offer various grants for students and others as well. And if you're awarded a grant, this is a nice thing to put on your resume. Also, your supervisor, and again, some supervisors will agree to fund your travel if you are presenting. Others, they don't mind either way. Let's see, and if you're a student, check out funding opportunities on campus too. Academic departments, student government offices, all professors as well. And of course, anytime you can share a hotel room with someone else, you're going to save some money too. Tip number 8, things to avoid. Avoid cocooning in your hotel room. It's important to have some alone time, but don't spend all your time in your hotel room. Be brave, get out there, try some networking. Alcohol. Too much alcohol, of course, could be a problem. Always keep professionalism in mind. And also avoid hanging out too much with the people you already know. Again, see this as a networking opportunity to meet some new people. But also make sure that you avoid not allowing yourself to have a good time. So have some fun, but not too much fun is kind of the rule. So also, one interesting little tip, avoid collecting too many freebies from the vendors if they don't fit in your luggage. You may have to leave them in the trash can at the airport if it's too much and you've gone over the weight limit. I love freebies. Tip number 9. How to conclude your time at the conference. It's always nice to send emails to the presenters, again, just to let them know you appreciated the presentation they give and how you plan to use the information that you learned. Also, offer to present the things you learned to your coworkers or fellow students when you return from the conference. Discuss the best ideas you brought home with you and get some help implementing those ideas as well. Also, keep that conference program to help you remember all the sessions that you attended. Also, continuing on with concluding your time at the conference. I always like to bring back some kind of fun taffy or cookies or some kind of treat to share with my coworkers. Many times that they're picking up the slack or they're covering for some activities that you were gone from while you were at the conference. So it's a nice appreciative act. Again, thank you notes are important for those who helped fund your trip. So keep those in mind. And then also thank you notes for those you interviewed with. And then, as I mentioned before, connect on LinkedIn with those new people that you met at the conference. Another survey. Do you have a LinkedIn account? And do you use it? I have a LinkedIn account. I try to remember to use it. I probably do use it maybe on average once a week or so. So it can be a good tool. It looks like a little bit of everything. Yes and yes, yes and no, no and no. So I do encourage you to check out LinkedIn and make a goal for yourself to to use LinkedIn at least once a week. Let other people know what you're doing, and also let other people know what you're doing, and then also see what others are doing and see how you can connect and share some ideas. Okay, a review of today's topics. Again, some of the tips that we've talked about. We talked about being prepared for the conference, about networking and how important that is, and some different ways to go about it. We talked about not overdoing it, and also job searching, managing your time wisely. We talked about presenting, getting travel support, things to avoid, and then how to conclude your time at the conference. Please, if you have any final questions for me, go ahead and put them in the box as well. And as I'm looking for any questions, just thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an exciting opportunity for me to speak with you. I've never been the subject of a webinar before, so I do appreciate that. My email is there as well. If you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to email me. And again, I appreciate the time that you spent with me today in this nice snowy weather in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Let's see. Okay, I see a few comments. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you.